चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। So this is the auspicious Ekadashi known as Varuthini Ekadashi. And so glad to be with all of you this morning. I was kind of reflecting on so many different things while I was researching for this lecture. And in the end, I basically settled on we'll read the glories of the Ekadashi. And then for several days, I've just kind of been praying, you know what? Oh my Lord, Shishirada Govinda, Shishirada Murlidhar. Let all of the right things come out at exactly the right time. I feel like sometimes we can stress ourselves and put a lot of pressure on ourselves to this must work out in exactly the way that I think it should work out, at exactly the time that I think it should work out. And with each Ekadashi lecture, I feel a blissful mood of surrender more and more, which is, you know what, Lord? Whatever you desire is what will occur. That's what will happen. That's what will come out. And that's what will ultimately be the best for myself and everyone else. So, without any further ado, the glories of Varuthini Ekadashi. Sri Yudhishthir Maharaj said, O Vasudev, I offer my most humble obeisances unto you. Please now describe to me the Ekadashi of the dark fortnight Krishna Paksh of the month of Vaishak, April-May, including its specific merits and influence. Lord Shri Krishna replied, O King, in this world and the next, the most auspicious and magnanimous Ekadashi is Varuthini Ekadashi, which occurs during the dark fortnight of the month of Vaishak. Whoever observes a complete fast on this sacred day has his sins completely removed, obtains continuous happiness, and achieves all good fortune. Fasting on Varuthini Ekadashi makes even an unfortunate woman fortunate. Upon anyone who observes it, this Ekadashi bestows material enjoyment in this life and liberation after the death of this present body. It destroys the sins of all and saves people from the miseries of repeated rebirth. By observing this Ekadashi properly, King Mandata was liberated. Many other kings also benefited from observing it. Kings such as Maharaj Dundumara in the Ikshvaku dynasty, who became free from leprosy, resulting from the curse that Lord Shiva had imposed upon him as a punishment. Whatever merit one obtains by performing austerities and penances for 10,000 years is achieved by a person who observes Varuthini Ekadashi. The merit one achieves by donating a great amount of gold during a solar eclipse at Kurukshetra is gained by one who observes this one Ekadashi with love and devotion, and certainly attains his goals in this life and the next. In short, this Ekadashi is pure and very enlivening, and the destroyer of all sins. Better than giving horses in charity is giving elephants, and better than giving elephants is giving land. But better still than giving land is the giving of sesame seeds, and better than that is giving of gold. Still, better than giving gold is giving food grains, for all the forefathers, demigods, devas, and human beings become satisfied by eating grains. Thus, there is no better gift of charity than this in the past, present, or future. Yet, learned scholars have declared that the giving away of a young maiden in marriage to a worthy person is equal to giving away food grains in charity. Moreover, Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has said that giving cows in charity is equal to giving food grains. Still, better than all these charities is teaching spiritual knowledge to the ignorant. Yet, all the merits one can attain by performing all these acts of charity are attained by one who simply fasts on the Varuthini Ekadashi. One who lives off the wealth of his daughters suffers a hellish condition until the inundation of the entire universe, O Bharat. Therefore, one should be especially careful not to use the wealth of his daughter. O best of kings, any householder who takes his daughter's wealth out of greed, who tries to sell his daughter, or who takes money from the man to whom he has given his daughter in marriage, such a householder becomes a lowly cat in his next life. Therefore, it is said that whoever, as a sacred act of charity, gives away in marriage a maiden decorated with various ornaments, and who also gives a dowry with her, obtains merit that cannot be described even by Chitragupta, the chief secretary of Yamaraj in the heavenly planets. That very same merit, however, can be easily achieved by one who fasts on the Varuthini Ekadashi. The following things should be given up on the Dashami, the 10th day of the moon, the day before Ekadashi. Eating on bell metal plates, eating any kind of urad dal, eating red lentils, eating chickpeas, eating kondo, a grain that is primarily eaten by poor people and resembles a poppy seed, or agrapanta seeds, eating spinach, eating honey, eating in others' houses or home, eating more than once, and participating in sex of any kind. On the Ekadashi itself, one should give up the following: gambling, sports, sleeping during the daytime, betel nuts and their leaves, brushing one's teeth, spreading rumors, fault finding, talking to the spiritually fallen, anger, and lying. On the Dwadasi, the day after Ekadashi, one should give up the following: eating on bell metal plates, eating urad dal, red lentils or honey, lying, strenuous exercise or labor, eating more than once, any sexual activity, shaving the body, face, or head, smearing oils on one's body, and eating in another's home. Lord Sri Krishna continued, whoever observes the Varuthini Ekadashi in this way becomes free from all sinful reactions and returns to the eternal spiritual abode. One who worships Lord Janardhan Krishna on this Ekadashi by staying awake throughout the entire night also becomes free from all his previous sins and attains to the spiritual abode. Therefore, O king, he who is frightened of his accumulated sins and their attendant reactions, and thus of death itself, must observe Varuthini Ekadashi by fasting very strictly. Finally, O noble Yudhisthira, he who hears or reads this glorification of the sacred Varuthini Ekadashi obtains the merit earned by donating 1,000 cows in charity. And at last, he returns home to the supreme abode of Lord Vishnu in the Vaikunthas. All glories to Varuthini Ekadashi. I like to read the glories of this Ekadashi, and then I also like to look in the chat section, because usually that's where everyone is already freaking out about all of the things that they did or did not do. And some are like, but what if I already brushed my teeth today? Like, what happens? So because I kind of cheated and read this yesterday, because it's available secretly, openly on the internet, I wound up brushing my teeth before sunrise. Loopholes. But the most wonderful thing, every time I read the glories of Ekadashi, any Ekadashi, is that I then reflect on the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada made everything infinitely easy. So much easier. Um, so many times we wind up thinking, you know, Srila Prabhupada didn't give us this or this or this or this or so many things or different festivals or all these things. And as a second generation devotee, I've heard very much the Prabhupada didn't give us this, usually in reference to certain festivals, etc. But in this case, Srila Prabhupada made it so simple. Just fast from grains and beans and increase your hearing and chanting. That's it. That is as strict as it needs to be. If we can somehow increase our service, Nam Seva, Vaishnav Seva, Deity Seva, Bhagavatam Seva, if we can just increase it a little bit, that is enough. Srila Prabhupada will handle the balance of everything else. Do we know the proper prayers to say at the proper time? No. Do we even know when the Ekadashi actually begins or does not begin or all of... No. But Srila Prabhupada, he made a way. He did the thing that no one else kind of wanted to do. We were so incredibly fallen in this land of New York that no one even had any faith that this could be. No one had any faith at all that any kind of ISKCON could occur. An international society of Krishna conscious people, starting with Westerners. It was a complete dream, and not a good dream. It was like a nightmare. So many people were thinking, who are you? Why would you? Who are these people? They can't understand the gift of Lord Chaitanya's mercy. What's amazing is Srila Prabhupada had faith. Srila Prabhupada absolutely had faith. Srila Prabhupada had it in mind that absolutely there was a way. When no one else could see a way, when everybody else had failed, Srila Prabhupada was determined to somehow or other find a way, simply on the strength of Vaishnav Seva, wanting to make his own guru happy. That Vaishnav Seva is the most powerful force in the universe. Srila Prabhupada would urge everyone not to take this Krishna conscious opportunity lightly. Don't take it cheaply. Don't think that because we have gotten it and because the process is very simple, don't take it cheaply as though it is easy. It's not easy. Bhagavatam tells pastime among pastime of so many people trying to perform austerities. And what happens when they start to perform austerities? The demigods begin to tremble. Oh no, what will happen to our positions? So we are performing austerities, each Ekadashi. And just imagine the austerities that we are performing. This Ekadashi, fasting on this Ekadashi gives the same merit as one performing austerity for 10,000 years. Our lifespans are not even that long, but it's okay. We have the benediction in Kali Yuga. No longer do we have to perform austerities for 10,000 years. Now, it's simply for 24 hours. Maybe 3 days if you are following the Dashami, Ekadashi, Dwadashi method. But Srila Prabhupada made it so simple. 24 hours. And that gives us the same merit as performing 10,000 years of austerities. How incredible is this? absolutely incredible is it? One friend is asking, we've said that Ekadashi eradicates sinful reaction. Chanting also eradicates sinful reaction. How should we look at it? Should we compare them? I'm not exactly sure why there needs to be a comparison. We have committed so many sinful activities that we can't even imagine all of them. The evidence of that is that we are here in this material world. Me, I like to be on the safe side and cover every base that I possibly can. So there needs to be no comparison for me. I have every day I'm committing some activity or other, knowingly or unknowingly. If you want to know how dire our situation is, just one day, look in the Garuda Purana. In Garuda Purana, basically, there is a fast track to hell for almost any activity. If you breathe wrong, if you sit wrong, if you use the bathroom incorrectly, things that seem kind of involuntary, there is like fast track ticket to hell. And I looked at it one day and I was kind of astounded and completely blown away and almost really dejected, to the point where I was like, well, what are we supposed to do then? Like, these are things that no one can control. And just to put it into perspective, as for like things that no one can control, Garuda Purana states that it's like, if the stream of your urine comes out in a broken formation or slightly tilt something or other, it's like there's a fast track to hell. And I was like, for that? Well, what do? We simply chant the holy name. This is why we need all the help that we can get. We don't understand how dire our situation is. Srila Prabhupada said that, sometimes people think, oh, it's okay. I don't have to focus now. I can give a little and then, I'll take another human form of life and then I'll get it right next time. Srila Prabhupada said, do not take that chance. Because between one human birth and the next, there could be millions of years. Not only could there be millions of years, but you don't know where you will take birth. There are more Earth planets than we give credit for. We are stuck in the notion that we are the center of the universe and everything revolves around us, and really, we're actually not that important. We are so not as important as we think we are. And so Srila Prabhupada urged us, do not take this chance lightly. Do not squander this opportunity thinking, oh, I'll get another one. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written, this human form of life is rarely achieved. If we want to know how rare, all we have to do is kind of look around. There are so many life forms around us all the time, including those that we can't even see. And so sometimes we have to remind ourselves that, one, we're not the center of the universe, and two, just because the process is made simple doesn't mean that we should take it cheaply. That it just comes again and again and again and again. There are spirit souls who have waited for an entire day of Brahma simply to somehow be in contact with Krishna consciousness the way Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has brought it. Millions of years waiting just for one opportunity. I can't even fathom it. But I don't want to squander it. Who knows how long we've been wandering, looking for this Krishna consciousness. And we've all been looking for it. I know for a fact, if I wasn't a devotee, I would probably be a very frustrated freedom fighter or something somewhere. Because the state of this material world really hits the heart deeply. And we feel like, well, I have to do something. I want to do something. There's so much. There's injustice. There's oppression. There's so much going on. And I would be frustrated because I can't stop it. I can't permanently change this place. However, the holy name gives us solace. Krishna consciousness gives us the solace that we are desperately searching for. Like the rays of the full moon giving the nectar that we are always seeking, says Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bhima Prabhu, please tell me something. Where'd he go?
Haribol Prabhuji. I also am one of those people who listens to the list of things to do and not to do, and throw my hands in the air. I just wanted to very quickly say that, as an example, we have. I had some friends when I was very young, 8 years old. They were twins. And one of them, of course, was a good twin, and one of them was a rebellious twin. And anyways, we were all walking to Six Corners, which was a little convenience shop. This is in the 1960s. And one of them, who always did things his own way, ran across the street on a main thoroughfare while the other one was saying we should go down to the traffic light. But he ran across the street, and he got run over. Even though he was a little kid, even though this was May, he got hit by a car and he was killed. And I remember going to the funeral as a kid, taking that as a big lesson. And so we have to understand that these rules and regulations are there, but mostly to show us that material nature does not care about us. This need to always have our hands as children in Krishna's hand, by virtue of the holy name and by virtue of association of devotees, will always keep us from doing something such as not paying attention as a child. There's short attention span, and we could find ourselves in trouble. And so similarly, in material nature, that unless we depend on Krishna and the Gurus and the Vaishnavas' instructions, that we can find ourselves in trouble real quick, because material nature grinds exceeding fine, and will catch our hands in the cogs of material nature. So I just wanted to say that, in a result of, if someone does this, then this happens, and if you do this wrong at the wrong time, then this happens, and that may all be true. But at the same time, if we simply put our hands in Krishna's hand, then Krishna will make sure that we get to the other side of the street safely. Hare Krishna.
That's absolutely true. And I like that point, because simply because we did not see it happen does not mean that it shouldn't have happened to us. Does that make sense? Like, we look at all of these rules and regulations and then we think, well, I never did that, and then nothing ever happened to me. Yet. So there's the yet. And there's also, we don't know what Krishna has saved us from. And that not knowing Krishna's guidance and his hand over our lives can sometimes breed a little bit of an arrogance in our souls. We start to think that we are untouchable. But what we don't realize is that we have been sheltered and protected and shielded by Krishna at every single moment. Things could be very, very different for us in this life and after it. We might think, yeah, but like, why do it at all if there are so many rules and regulations? Follow it to the best of your ability. And Shri Krishna promises us, of course, in Bhagavad Gita, one of my favorite verses is, in this endeavor there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path is enough to save one from the most dangerous type of fear. The most dangerous type of fear. One of those fears for each of us sometimes is the fear of the unknown. What happens? What if we're all wrong? What if it's all right? Oh no. Krishna consciousness is enough to save us from the most dangerous type of fear. And simply because we have not seen every dangerous situation does not mean that, one, it doesn't exist, and two, that it wasn't meant to come upon us and that we were saved. But from the constant saving, we get a little arrogant. And then we get a little mean-spirited toward our dear friend Sri Krishna. Because he didn't give us exactly what we wanted when we wanted it. Not counting, never thinking of the innumerable times that we've been shielded. When we may have been at the wrong place at the wrong time, and somehow or other, everything was turned around. There's one small pastime. At the end of the Govardhan Leela, when Krishna was lifting Govardhan Hill, all of his friends were underneath the hill. He said, the waters have receded, the flooding has stopped, the rain is gone, everyone return home. Krishna's friends looked at Krishna and they said, Krishna, you leave first. Krishna said, no, it's okay, you all go. He said, no, you're our friend, we're no less strong than you, you go. Some of his friends were saying, we were holding up the hill with our strength. Madhu Mangal was very proud of his Brahman Tejas, his Brahminical power. He says, I've been holding up this hill for so long with all of my Brahminical prayers. Krishna, you go. Krishna looked at Madhu Mangal. He said, Madhu, I don't think this is a good idea. Madhu Mangal said, of course, I'm doing everything. I'm strong enough. Krishna, you go. I will put down the hill myself. Krishna said, are you sure? Madhu Mangal said, absolutely. And so Krishna said, all right. And it says that he only shifted like the effulgence of Govardhan Hill. Not even the full hill. Just a little shift of the hill. And all of the boys fainted from the weight of this Govardhan Hill. When Madhu Mangal regained his consciousness, he began to yell at his friend. Krishna, you didn't tell me? I wasn't ready. You didn't even count to 3 or anything. You know what? For this kind of insolent behavior, I'm leaving. You put down the hill yourself. Sweet story. The cowherd boys are full of hasyaras, they're full of laughter. And Madhu Mangal is very adept at making Krishna laugh. But this is us. We're saying, Krishna, I got it. I can handle it. I can do it all myself. Krishna knows we can't. Are you sure? It's kind of a bad idea. No, I've got this. I can handle material nature. Just thinking, but this is my own energy, my own potency. No, Krishna, we got it. Okay. Then he shows us a glimmer of an effulgence of what that could be like. And then we turn on our friend immediately. After, of course, the fainting. Because usually we faint, we get amnesia, we forget everything. Oh, Krishna, you've never done anything good for me ever in my life. I can't believe you're like this. This is us. Krishna, do everything yourself. That's it. Can we stay with Krishna? Can we maybe turn that mindset around on ourselves and remember that we've been shielded so much. We have been under such shelter and protection. We have to make sure that we do not forget how much protection we have had. So, someone in the chat is asking, on one side, we are not to take the chance lightly of this human life and definitely are to take it with gratitude for the possibility of advancement and returning to Krishna. And yet also, isn't the mood of a Vaishnava that the Lord is always with us, that his arrangement is perfect, wherever we end up? Srila Prabhupada was referring to another birth on earth or even in hell with a sense of joy for continued service. The problem is if we're taking it lightly, then we are not also simultaneously saying, but you know what, Lord? Wherever you are, that's where I want to serve you in the Vaishnavas. Usually, we're focused on enjoying our senses. So, for those devotees who say, I will go to heaven or hell wherever you need me to serve, my Lord, I will do whatever you need me to do. Those are not the people who are taking their births lightly. Those are the people like Jesus. Those are the people like Srila Prabhupada, people who did not have to be in a material condition of life, but did so because service. Because service was drawing them in. So I think it's two very different circumstances. Saying to the Lord, I will serve wherever, because I am yearning for devotion. I am yearning for that devotional service, and that is all that my heart and soul is completely made up of. Versus the people who think, yeah, I'll chant tomorrow because I have another day. Or I will be spiritual later because I'll get another human birth. I'm a good person. It's fine. I'll take care of it later. So those two are not the same. But yeah, we have to be incredibly careful. And then, in researching for this class, I was kind of thinking, where is this going to lead? Which I'm glad so many people had questions because it gave such a chance to hear from everyone. But I was thinking, where is this going to lead? And then I just started thinking, Ekadashi is one of my favorite days. And it's not like you have to wait a long time for the festival to come around. You can have a festival every 2 weeks on Ekadashi. Just because our Lord is so supremely, infinitely merciful. And we have devotees and Vaishnavis that are so intensely merciful that they say, I will take care of everything. I will change everything for you. The workings of the entire universe I will change for you. Just honor me on one day. This is the mercy of the Vaishnavas. And then I thought, what if I went about my Krishna consciousness not trying to rush to the end goal? What if I engaged in each Ekadashi fast, not trying to rush the sunrise for the next day, rushing toward Dwadasi so that I can be done with my tapasya? But what if I was able to relish each moment, being completely present with gratitude in my heart, thinking, this day, maybe this day was not promised for me. What if I was not supposed to make it to this day, but here I am on this Ekadashi? What incredible gratitude would I have for the holy name? What incredible gratitude would I have for Ekadashi Devi? What if she had not advented? What if she had not decided, let me do something to make the lives of the Vaishnavas better? What if I could stay in that mood of serving Ekadashi Devi and enjoy this Krishna consciousness? Enjoy that day. Enjoy the tapasya. What if, while chanting, and later on, I'm co-facilitating a japa marathon at the Bhakti Center in person, so I'll be running from this morning lecture to do a few things and then run to the Bhakti Center. What if I chanted not with rushing it to try and, I just want to hurry up and finish my japa? What if I relished each round as a conversation with my dear friend? The holy name. The friend that has saved my life. What if I truly understood the precarious nature of my situation here? The gravity of it all. And in that mood chanted with extreme gratitude. Not trying to rush through each round, but simply be with each mantra. Understanding that every single mantra changes our complete fate. What if I did not read through Bhagavatam thinking, oh yeah, but my goal is just to like finish it. Let me get it done, 12 months, finish Bhagavatam. What if, like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I had a favorite story and he would say, tell me again, recite it again. They say 100 times. He would hear the stories of Prahlad and Dhruva before going to the next. 100 times. You ever have a favorite movie that you watch and re-watch, or a favorite song? I'll get like a favorite song of the year sometimes, and I feel like I'll listen to that song a lot that year. And Spotify likes to tell me which songs those are at the end of the year. But like, what if we picked a favorite story for a year? And we thought, I am going to live in this story and read it again and again and again. We would find that the story would unfold deeper than we ever expected. The words might be the same, but we would find something new in it at every given moment. Are we giving ourselves the opportunity to be present in our Krishna consciousness? The goal is right here. The goal, the means, kind of end up being the same. My spiritual master says we chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to pray to be able to do more chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Gratifying our senses in terms of devotional service is actually the way in which we are supposed to gratify our senses. It's kind of impossible for us not to look for a way to gratify our senses. The nature of the soul is anandam buddhivardhanam. We're always searching for that pleasure that we're seeking, the bliss, the nectar. And once we get into Krishna consciousness, Krishna says, go ahead, do it. I've made the process fun. Smile, laugh, talk to other devotees, hear from other devotees, feed other devotees, accept prasad with other devotees. It should be a full sensory production in the service of Krishna. And somehow or other, what we understand is that we are also satisfying Krishna's senses. I was reading, and I think Govinda Maharaj had put up a quote recently, kind of reminding, and I'm a person who kind of, I like tapasya. It's a very strange thing. I like tapasya, like people like to go on like hikes and mountain climb, and I don't really like to mountain climb or hike unless it's Govardhan Parikrama. But I do like a bit of tapasya. And what they were saying was, sometimes if you are unnecessarily performing harsh tapasya, not only are you depriving yourself of nutrients and energy, but you're also depriving your super soul. And I was like, oh. And so sometimes I do have to remind myself, like, feed your Paramatma, Achyuta. Like, we do the things, and sometimes we get in a mood of, and I know I can get in a mood of like arrogance of thinking, there's nothing for me. The fasting is nothing. Yeah, but now are we fasting for Krishna's pleasure or my own? Is it for my ego to be able to say, I can do this? Has it? No problem. Now what can we accept for the service of Krishna? Now can we accept the service of feed your body because your Paramatma is there? Can we eat as a service to Krishna? It is said that Krishna gave Sudama, who was a very poor Brahmana, he gave him wealth because he could understand that there was some subtle pride that Sudama felt in his own renunciation. He knew his renunciation, and then he thought, I don't need it. I don't need the wealth. But there was some subtle pride there, and Krishna knew that subtle pride could be the thing that takes him away from devotional service. And so Krishna gives him all the wealth. Can we accept that in devotional service? The Lord gave Prahlad an entire kingdom. Dhruva got an entire kingdom. Can we accept that in a mood of devotional service and then actually lead that life in a mood of service? Sometimes the acceptance of things is harder than the renunciation of them. But what I do know is no path is completely easy, because that's the material world. Nothing here is easy. It's not meant to be. It's the material world. We're supposed to remember that we don't want to be here. So if everything is all fine and wonderful and goes according to plan at all times, then we start thinking that we want to stay here. But we shouldn't want to be here. And as each year comes around and I reflect around my birthday, I start thinking of all the places that I could have been. Slightly different family, and my life could have been completely different. Slightly different month, my life could have been completely different. But somehow or other, Krishna decided, okay, you've done enough. You've had enough of a desire, maybe even to serve the Vaishnavas. Even if we didn't serve a Vaishnav, just the desire to serve a Vaishnav can change our entire fate and bring us in contact with the most glorious, most beneficial thing for our souls, which is this Krishna consciousness. I am so grateful for this day and this opportunity. Every single time I have a chance to come and somehow be tolerated by all of the devotees, I am so incredibly grateful, because it could be very different. And there are so many others who are searching for this opportunity. So let us take this day one moment at a time, just giving our best at each moment, and remembering and realizing that Krishna will actually carry what we lack and preserve what we have. We don't have to worry about all the ways that we're falling short. We can simply indulge each moment with an attitude of such gratitude that I don't know how, Lord, but I'm here. Let me chant this Mahamantra just being here. Understanding that an entire universe had to shift and change for me to come in contact with this Mahamantra, which is your very self. If I was really perceiving Krishna in the Mahamantra, would I rush through it? Or would I think, finally, I'm in the presence of my friend. I've been yearning for this for so long. Somehow or other, I'm finally here. So that's what I want my meditation this day to be, as I try and facilitate the chanting of the holy name. As I try and gather together with everyone to chant some extra japa. We'll be chanting from about 11 a.m. till 6 p.m. Lots of hours to get some extra japa in. So I hope that if you're in the area, you'll come join us. Also, before I turn it over for questions, I'll just Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you Vaishnavas. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ekadashi Devi ki jai.
Achita Gopi, Devidasi ki jai. Temple room, is it darshan time at Keshwar? Yeah. Yashoda Dalal Adi. Draupadi Purusha, that's his full name, Draupadi. Unlimited side. Unlimited apron. You're not glorifying Krishna Adi Purusha, people. What's going on? Jeffrey Eckler has his hand up.
Hare Krishna. I just wanted to say thank you, Achyuta Gopi. You had said in the opening that you had prayed for days to let all the right things come out the right way. And those prayers were definitely answered this morning. Thank you.
I can't tell you what that encouragement means to me. So thank you. Definitely needed to hear that reciprocation. Jai. Jai Shishirada Murlidhara ki Jai.